People still filing in, but we might as well get started right on time, right?
Works for me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jon Brenneman, and I'm the president here at MOAA Vacations. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Before we get started, just a couple of things I always like to remind people. First off, we are recording this presentation. So tonight you will receive a copy of it. So at any point during today's presentation, if anyone says anything you'd like to revisit, you will receive a copy of this presentation this evening. We'll also include a link to the website. We do have a website set up for this Greek Isles cruise, which has complete information, so it's a great resource as well. It not only includes a kind of a list of the day-to-day itinerary, but it also has a deck plan, which shows the staterooms that are still available. If you have any questions, there is a Q&A. You should be able to pull that up. If you put your mouse or your cursor down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a little navigation. You'll see a little kind of question bubble there, Q&A. As soon as I turn it over to Cathy, I'm going to be answering questions while she's talking. And then if there's any questions that are asked that we want to discuss in more detail, or if it's something I think everyone will benefit from, I will probably just answer that during the presentation, and then we'll revisit that at the end of the Q&A. So we're going to start out in just a second. I'm going to turn it over to Cathy. Cathy is going to talk about Atlas. Let us all know a little bit more about Atlas Ocean Voyages, and then she's going to pass it off to Tim, who is actually going to go through the itinerary of our cruise on a day-to-day basis and kind of let you see exactly what you can expect to experience. Before we get started, there are a number of people who signed up for today's webinar who probably are not familiar with MOAA Vacations. So Cathy, if you could just go forward one slide. Thank you. So just the kind of the thing that makes us unique, we always like to kind of touch on that. And the first thing we always talk about is our superior concierge level of service. We are, and we continue to be, the only travel agency in the country that sells travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. And what that simply means, if you have any problems, issues, concerns about your cruise, either before or during your cruise or tour or whatever vacation you select, we will resolve that to your satisfaction. The majority of those I handle personally. If it's not me handling it, it will be Mike Tyrell, our vice president. So you go immediately to top management, and then we work with our partners like Cathy to get things resolved in a very timely manner. We do guarantee the lowest price. In fact, we do a little bit better than the lowest price. We have a MOAA free amenity program. This is upgrades, shipboard credits, on a specialty dining for those vendors that charge for it and those types of things. Just something a little bit extra that we like to add. These MOAA amenities are in recognition of your past and continued service. And then what we're going to talk about today is groups. We do a whole array of groups. If you and your friends or you and your family wanted to go on an Atlas cruise to a different destination, be it Antarctica or anywhere else they sell, we can absolutely do a group just for your family or your friends. We work with chapters, we work with councils. But what we're talking about today is what I talk about all the time and call groups on steroids, and that are the MOAA signature groups. So number of things that make these kind of a step up from the normal groups that you may be accustomed to going on. The first thing is they are hosted. MOAA Leadership and MOAA staff will be on board to ensure that you have a completely stress-free vacation. They are all-inclusive. We try to include as much as possible, the hope being that you can go on this cruise and spend very little money once you're actually on it. We do have exclusive onboard events and excursions we put together. We always have a welcome reception, opportunity to meet your fellow MOAA members, as well as a farewell reception. These are exclusive events. So right now, when you if you go to the website and you look at the ship and you see all of the staterooms that are already sold, those are all occupied by MOAA members. We are holding every cabin currently on the ship. And the goal on these signature groups always is to basically take over the ship. That way, when you're on the ship, everyone you meet, cocktail party, breakfast, meals, on and off the ship, whatever it is, are going to be fellow MOAA members or fellow MOAA member guests. We do invite you to bring your friends and family along on these signature groups. So they're not open to public, but as long as a MOAA member is going, they can bring as many friends and family along as they like. And then the final thing is they are rare opportunities. For the first several years, we were only doing 2 a year, but they proved so popular, we now are doing 3 signature groups a year. So when we look to 2025, when the Greek Isles cruise is sailing, there are only 3 signature group opportunities for the entirety of the year. This is the only cruise that we offer. There's also a tour to Australia, and there's a river cruise in the Burgundy and Provence region of France. If you want to, the dates are set up. You can go on all 3 of them. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Cathy. Cathy is going to tell us more about Atlas and everything that, all the exciting things about what they offer travelers such as yourself. Cathy, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jon. We appreciate it. And we appreciate everyone tuning in to learn a little bit more about Atlas Ocean Voyages. As Jon said, my name is Cathy Kusuma, and I'm the VP of Sales for Atlas. And I will be turning things over about halfway through the presentation to our Regional Sales Director, Tim, who will be going through the very specific itinerary of the MOAA Vacations special group that we're talking about. So the signature group on our sailing in 2025, which is an incredible itinerary. So I'm excited to introduce you to that. But I'm here to tell you a little bit about who we are, our brand. So we will get into that. I'll introduce our brand is relatively new to the cruise industry just in general. So I'll give you a little bit of background there. I'll talk a little bit about our value proposition and all the inclusions. So everything that will be included in this signature group when you sail with us. And even if you decide to sail with us on another group and you want to talk to Jon or anyone at MOAA Vacations about future cruises with us, you'll know a little bit about what's included when you pick an Atlas Ocean voyage to sail with us. I'm going to go over some really cool things. I'll show you the ship, the World Navigator. We have 3 that are actually sailing for us at the moment, with more on order and coming soon. But World Navigator is the ship that you will be sailing on for this MOAA signature group. So I'll go through and show you some really cool pictures of our yacht, because it really is a small yacht-like experience. And we'll go through that, and then we'll get into Epicurean expeditions and what that means. And again, Tim is going to fill you in on the exclusive group sailing, and again go into detail about what to expect on your Epicurean expedition. So as I mentioned, we're fairly new to the cruise industry, and we're a fairly interesting company where we actually started up in the middle of a global pandemic, which is not always the most ideal time to start a cruise line, but we actually have made quite a bit of progress since then. We actually launched our first ship, World Navigator, in August of 2021. She is absolutely gorgeous, as you'll see in some of the pictures. I don't even think the pictures do her justice, but she was very successful, and we launched our second ship, World Traveler, in November of 22. So she's just now a little over a year old. And our third ship, we actually christened, and Tim was actually on board in Antarctica. We christened her in November of 2023 for her first inaugural Antarctica sailing. We also have the World Seeker, which is coming soon in 2025, followed by 2 more yachts after that. All sister ships, all small, just under 10,000 tons, only 98 staterooms total on board. And we don't even use all the staterooms, depending on the itinerary and how many expedition team members we have to bring on board. But it is an incredibly awesome experience to be on board. So just a little background of where we sail. We're going to be speaking specifically about the Greek Isles and some really cool places in the Med. However, that's not the only place that Atlas sails. You'll see on the screen here for 23-24 season, these are all the destinations that we have been visiting and will continue to visit throughout the year. Our bread and butter is in Antarctica and the Arctic. So if you're interested in visiting in either of the polar regions, this is something to definitely consider. They are life-changing experiences. and really interesting places to visit if you really want to be immersed in the destination. We do that for a good portion of the year, Antarctica about half the year, and the other half of the year we visit other destinations like the Arctic, Iceland, Greenland, the Mediterranean, where we have some special expeditions, specifically the Epicurean expeditions that we're going to talk about today, which are really awesome. We also visit Northern Europe, the Falklands and Patagonia, South America, and of course we have to do some transatlantic cruises to get to and from these different destinations as well. We are a year-round expedition company. That is our niche in the marketplace. Again, we have small yachts, but less than 200 guests on board, and we really wanted to take our expedition experience that our guests have had in the polar regions and kind of bottle that and recreate that in every other destination that we visit. And we've tried to do that in a couple of different ways. You'll see on the screen here that we have cultural expeditions, which is a fairly new one, where we include a lot of historical excursions. We do some really unique presentations on board when we bring on guest speakers. And we have some unique workshops like photography and that type of thing that take place on cultural expeditions. But what we're really going to focus on today is our Epicurean expeditions. And this is, we found, then one of the more popular of the three expedition types. And that's because we really take off our polar expedition team and we bring on a culinary or an Epicurean expedition team comprised of a guest chef, a visiting wine vintner, and a gastronomic guest. And the entire cruise in the Mediterranean is themed around food and gastronomic events. And it's a really awesome way for you to experience the Med. We find that people generally kind of eat their way through the Mediterranean and they really enjoy the experiences they have with food and wine. And so we thought, why not try and make our experiences more of a culinary Epicurean expedition versus any other type of way. So we've had some great success with it, and I think you'll find it super exciting when you get to see the itinerary coming up. Now, in terms of our yachts, again, they're small. If you've ever sailed on a river cruise before, it's kind of a unique layout, kind of similar to what a riverboat would be, because we only have a couple of decks of guest cabins, one main deck where most of the action takes place, two lounges. It is a small, intimate experience. We really try to do as much destination immersion as possible. We really do focus on the destinations that we're visiting from start to finish. You know, you'll find that our yachts are beautifully appointed. The service is top notch. So again, these are our three main pillars of our focus when it comes to our line specifically. Our yachts have, again, 98 staterooms. We only have 10 suites on board, but all of our yachts are appointed in beautiful fashion, very comfortable. But I think what we're most well known for and what people continue to comment on and want to come back and sail with us is our service. We have top-notch service. It is not overly stuffy and formal. It is very approachable and friendly, but it is, again, 5-star top-notch. We try to anticipate your needs, and because of the small size of our ships, we offer nearly a 1-to-1 guest-to-staff ratio. So it's a really incredible experience, and people feel like they're coming home when they come back on board Atlas. Now, one of the other things that makes our value proposition even more incredible is everything you see on the screen. And I'm not going to go through and read every single thing here, but everything you see on the screen now is always included when you book an Atlas Ocean Voyages journey with us. There are additional inclusions on top of these depending on the type of expedition that you take. If you go to the polar regions, there may be a charter flight that's included. There may be parkas that we provide. If you do an Epicurean expedition, I'm going to show you exactly what you get with that, and cultural expeditions have some different inclusions as well. But all of our cruises include what you see on the screen. That includes prepaid gratuities. Those are included, a free cultural immersion on every single voyage, and that depends on the location of your itinerary as to what that free cultural immersion is, but it's for all guests on board, but just the guests on board our vessels. All of your dining, all of your food and beverages included, including your wines and spirits, all of your alcohol is included. We include even a mini bar in your stateroom that is stocked to your preferences on a daily basis as well. 24-hour room service, of course. We have amazing L'Occitane products in our stateroom bathrooms as well as in our spa on board. We really try to make it a luxurious yet casual and laid back experience as well for you. So here are the inclusions, in addition to what you just saw, that are included on all Epicurean expeditions. So in addition to all of that, there will be culinary experiences ashore. This could include market visits, specialty food and wine tastings ashore, and it all really depends on your itinerary. And we give a lot of leeway to our guest chefs. They each have a different personality and different specialties, and they try and really kind of focus on the itinerary itself and take you to different locations that would be something unique and special for that cruise. Always included for our warm water destination, specifically with our Epicurean, is our Joffre Dining Grill experience at our onboard chop house called 7 Aft Grill. Now, this is an outdoor dining experience. So picture a Ruth's Chris or a Capital Grill out on deck by the pool. It's a really amazing, unique experience, incredible steaks, incredible food, but very casual. You can be in your shorts and flip-flops if you'd like, out relaxing on deck. So it's a really neat experience. It can be kind of unique for people who have been on cruises before. They expect it to be very formal, and that is not us at all. We want you to be comfortable and casual, but that is included in the cruise as well. Again, culinary presentations, wine tastings that'll take place throughout the voyage. On every single day, there'll be something different, some sort of event on board. Again, the cuisine tastings and cooking demonstrations. We have your taste and traditions expert or your gastronomic guest on board that will be hosting different presentations and talking about different culinary experiences that are local to the destinations that you're visiting, but also sharing recipes, giving cooking tips. I think one of the most fun aspects of the Epicurean expedition, and Tim will get into this in a little bit later, but is our Yachtsman Cook-Off, where we actually get our guests involved with our guest chefs. And there's a competition, a cooking competition on board. Sometimes we do it out on deck if the weather's nice. Sometimes we bring it indoors to different lounges. But it's a really fun experience where everyone gets involved. Our guest chef gives you some instructions and a little bit of creative license and freedom. And it's usually the talk of the cruise for sure. Included with that as well, we give everybody an Atlas Ocean Voyages backpack. So when you go ashore and you do some of these market visits or any of these cultural immersions, you have something to put your goodies in to bring back as well. And of course, because it is a warm water destination, depending on the port of call, as long as the weather is available or nice at that time, and as long as the ports will allow us to do it, we will allow you free use of the marina water toys on board our ship. So you'll be on board World Navigator, which is an incredible ship. I'm going to show you pictures here in just a second. But we have stand-up paddle boards, we have tandem kayaks for 2 people, and we have single kayaks, and we also have jet skis on board. So all of this is free of charge depending on the weather and the ports. So you can enjoy that and have a little bit of fun in the sun while you're on board as well. So here she is. This is our beauty World Navigator, our first baby. With Atlas Ocean Voyages. I find her to be my personal favorite of all 3 of our ships that are sailing at the moment. Although they're identical, they have all the same footprint and layout. Each of our vessels actually takes on an air about themselves. Obviously, the decor is a little bit different. World Navigator specifically has more of a classic ocean liner feel on its interior, dark woods, a really beautiful decor. And again, the pictures I'm going to show you are great, but they don't do her justice. Just wait till you're on board. It's an amazing experience. Here's just a kind of quick glance of our deck plans. I know Jon mentioned that they also have deck plans available too, so you can see which staterooms are still available. I know it's a little hard to see. I just like to show you this so that you can see. She is a very small vessel. She's a little girl. Decks 5 and 6 there are where all of the staterooms are located for the most part. We do have a few of our entry-level staterooms. Our Adventure Ocean staterooms are on deck 3. But deck 4 is where the action takes place. So that's where our main theater is, where we have our guest lectures. That's there. We have our Atlas Lounge there. This is where you'll embark the ship as well. Our front desk, our shore excursion desk, our spa, and our tiny little gift shop, as well as our dining room. We also have some beautiful alfresco dining areas on board. You'll have that on deck 4 aft. And then everything else really takes place on deck 7. That's where we have our dome observation lounge. We have our pools and our hot tubs up there, as well as 7 aft dining area that I talked about with the Jasper Grill and the steakhouse. And then on deck 8, we have a jogging track and some other stationary equipment that you can use for working out purposes as well. In terms of our accommodations, I wanted to give you just kind of an insight a little bit and some pictures of what you can expect. All of our accommodations include some really unique things. I always bring up my favorite first, which is the bathrooms. I know it might sound funny to start with the bathrooms, but ladies especially, you'll really enjoy it, and men like it too. But they're not your typical cruise ship stateroom bathrooms. They are floor-to-ceiling marble showers. You've got 3 different ways to shower in one, which is crazy. You have a handheld shower, you have a rain shower, and you also have body jets. You have 3 different jets and a little seat. So it really is a spa-like experience every time you go and take a shower in your own stateroom. And that does not matter what the stateroom category is. They all have those unique features. So it's really awesome. Of course, when you first walk on board, we will welcome you with sparkling wine and a craft cocktail. Whatever your pleasure is, there is no standing in line. You come on board, we welcome you into the Atlas Lounge. You have a seat, you have a cocktail with us. Someone will come over to you and take your information, your passports, and then come back just a few minutes later and present your room key to you, and we'll take you right up to your stateroom. So it's a really easy, no stress experience when you first board the ship. They'll magically deliver your luggage to your stateroom, and off you go on an amazing experience. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a mini bar in everyone's stateroom, and it's fully stocked to your preferences. Your stateroom attendant will make sure that they refill that for you to your preferences. There is a room service menu. There's an always available menu on your TV, and that's available 24/7 if you want to order meals to your room. We also have an espresso coffee and tea maker that's in your staterooms as well. Again, we'll refill that. We do try as much as we can to be as green as we possibly can. So there'll be a couple of things. We'll give you a stainless steel water bottle that's yours to keep. And we have different water stations throughout the ship where you can fill up in either still or sparkling water, and that's yours to take ashore with you, and you'll have that so that you can stay hydrated. But we'll also deliver water into your staterooms as well, and they deliver those in reusable glass bottles. So again, your preference, sparkling or still or both, you're able to get those delivered to you on a daily basis. Of course, we provide terry bathrobes and slippers for you to use while you're on board. The Egyptian cotton sheets on board are the silkiest I think I've ever slept on. Really soft, really silky and amazing. So it really truly is kind of like being pampered on board. And of course, a complimentary use of binoculars throughout the voyage, whether you have a balcony, a traditional balcony, or if you have one of our Juliet balconies that I'll talk about here in a second, you will be able to take a look and see what's out there. I mentioned earlier that we have 10 different suites on board. We have 3 different categories of suites. We have the Navigator suite, which is our largest at 465 square feet. We have the Discovery suite at 445 and the Journey suite at 382 square feet. Now, the thing that they all have in common is that they both have a standalone bedroom and a separate living room area. Both of them have entrances out onto an extended 106 square foot balcony. So it's a really great experience on board if you want a little extra room. Some of the benefits, of course, of being in the suites is that you have a butler. So that's always nice to be pampered. And a butler can help you with your full in-room dining and ordering things, packing, unpacking, you name it. They are there at your service whenever you need them. Most of our suites will accommodate up to 3 guests. You do have to check to make sure, but most of them do accommodate up to 3. Otherwise, all of our other staterooms are 2 people. So the majority of the staterooms that we have on board the ship are balcony accommodations. We have 2 different types of balconies. So what you see on the screen now is our veranda, which is your traditional balcony stateroom. So you have a sliding glass door that takes you out onto your outdoor balcony with a table and chairs there. The balcony is 52 square feet, but the total square footage, including the balcony, is 270 square feet. Again, all of the other bells and whistles that come with the stateroom are pretty standard that we talked about. You've got your infotainment system and your TV that you can order your room service and catch up on the activities of the day. You've got your mini bar there. Of course, you've got your ample wardrobe space for packing and unpacking. You've got all of the features of the shower that I talked about. You've got your L'Occitane products and your bathrobe and slipper. All of those wonderful things come with all of our staterooms. The other types of balcony accommodations, we call them horizon staterooms, but they are basically Juliet-style balconies. They're the same total square footage, so still 270 square feet. But what we've done is we've replaced the physical balcony with a floor-to-ceiling window, and we've incorporated that extra 52 square feet footage into the living space of the stateroom. And you can see there in the image, there's a black bar just across the window. Anything above that black bar actually drops down. There's a little button by your bed. You push the button and the window will actually roll down. So you can take in the fresh air and the sights and sounds when you want to. It's a balcony when you want it to be, and it's a window when you want it to be. I love these. These are my personal favorites only because it really gives you that extra living space. You almost have that separate living room and all that usable space. I find personally for me, depending on the itinerary, I don't use my physical balcony as much as I think I would. So this is a great way to take advantage of that extra space there. So we have both types depending on your preference, the traditional veranda, stateroom, or balcony, and we have your horizons as well. Then we also have a handful of our ocean view accommodations. They're called Adventure Ocean View Staterooms. They're 183 square feet. And again, all of the same amenities that you would have in any of the other categories with the mini bar and the amazing shower. But it is our entry-level price point. It has an ocean view picture window. And I wanted to just go through and show you some of the imagery on board World Navigator. Again, the Atlas Lounge is the kind of the gathering spot really of the ship. This is probably the first lounge you're going to see when you walk on board. This is where we'll bring everyone once they embark the ship on deck 4. You'll have a cocktail, you'll have a seat, and await someone to come to you to really check you in and then walk you up to escort you to your stateroom. We have a piano in here. We do our captain's welcome. Again, it's not a formal, there are no formal nights at all on board, but it is a casual elegance. We have a lot of different activities that we'll do throughout the voyage here. So a lot of your taste and traditions experts may have you gather in the Atlas Lounge. We could do the Yachtsman Cook-Off in here that could be done in one of many places, but it's a great place for a cocktail. It's a great place for scenic cruising because it's lined with windows on either side. There's, of course, a bar. We serve canapes here. It's just a nice little gathering spot. Of course, there's a little library. People come in here and really kind of gather and meet and catch up on what they've done for the day. The other major lounge that we have on board is called the Dome Observation Lounge. This is on deck 7 all the way forward, just one level above the bridge. It has 270-degree views with floor-to-ceiling windows. It's a beautiful spot. Again, during the day, it's nice and quiet. It's a great place for scenic cruising. We do our high tea in here. So we have tea service, which is a really fun experience as well. But in the evenings, this turns into quite the location. We have some cabaret-style entertainment here. We have, again, vocalists that will be on board. Sometimes we do name that tune and some trivia in this lounge as well. But again, it's a kind of a nice, fun place to catch up in the evenings, a quiet place during the day. Here's some images of our auditorium, again, all the way forward on deck 4. This is where we'll have any of our guest lectures speak. Sometimes we do some of our taste and traditions speaking and lectures in here as well, and some of our cooking demonstrations take place in our theater as well. Most of your meals will take place in the main dining room on World Navigator. It's called Porto Dining Room. Again, beautiful views throughout. We do have a classic fare that is served on a regular basis, but we do theme it and change the theme every day. We try to pair it very specifically with the destinations that we're visiting. So you'll see that the theme for the day may be a Greek theme if you're in the Greek Isles, and we'll have our taste and traditions expert and our guest chef really involved in that. So there'll be a lot of cooking demos in here. There'll be a lot of wine tastings and different types of food tastings that take place in the Porto dining room as well. And again, this happens breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But there's also an amazing alfresco dining area just behind the dining room. Same menu. You can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, weather permitting, out back. It's in a great place to just kind of change up the venue. Same great food, same great service, but with a spectacular view of wherever you are for that day. Paula's Pantry is another favorite. Again, another good gathering spot. It's a small place, but you wouldn't believe how popular it is. It's right behind our front desk area, and it's kind of our Starbucks of being on board. This is a kind of our specialty coffees, teas, and smoothie station. And this is where you can come throughout the day. If you don't want a full sit-down meal for breakfast or lunch, but you want something quick on the go, it's a grab-and-go place. So we'll have some breakfast foods and pastries and parfaits and that type of thing in the morning, and fresh squeezed juices. And smoothies that you can have throughout the day. We'll also have some sandwiches and those types of things for a small meal that you can have in the afternoons. And they do fresh-baked cookies there throughout the day as well. So again, Paula's Pantry is a great place if you're not looking for that big hearty meal that you just want to grab something on the go. This was 7F that I was speaking about before. This is around our pool deck on deck 7. During the day, we have a small buffet there that changes daily. You can also order a la carte specialty burgers during the day, which is awesome. But it turns into our chop house in the evenings. Now, reservations are required for this. There's no additional charge. But again, it is the fancy steakhouse version out by the pool, and a really great experience. Amazing steaks. Great service, but again, not that pressure to have to dress up. You can if you want to, but not the pressure to have to dress up in a great setting, and you're really taking in the spectacular views of the destinations while you're eating. We have our sea spa on board, and again, we're a small vessel, so we only have 2 treatment rooms. It's not full service, but it is facials and massages, and let me tell you, they are incredible. We have a beautiful sauna there and a relaxation room that you can take full advantage of as well. Reservations do get booked up for our spa treatment, so I would suggest doing that toward the beginning of your cruise, but it is an awesome experience, and it is all sponsored by L'Occitane. We use all L'Occitane products on board our ships, specifically in the spa, but also in your stateroom bathrooms as well. And for health and wellness, we also have a small gym on board with some equipment, a full set of free weights, and then up on deck 8, we have our full jogging track. I believe 14 times around deck 8 is a mile, so quite a few times around, but we also have some stationary workout equipment positioned in key places up on deck 8 as well. So there's lots of places to get your workout in when you're not going ashore and trekking through the different markets and everything on your way to experience some Epicurean adventures. And of course, on deck 7, we also have our pool and our hot tubs that you can take full advantage of, weather permitting. And in your case, for the MOAA Signature Group Cruise, it should be beautiful weather, we're hoping. It usually is in the Med, but specifically in Greece. I've done a very similar itinerary on World Navigator, actually, and it is absolutely incredible. It's some stunning views there to see. So take advantage of your outdoor space when at all possible. So I am going to now turn things over to Tim, and he's going to pick up from here and talk specifically about your Taste of Greece Signature Group Cruise. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and
make Tim the host.
Make him that host. When technology works for me, I will do it. Let's see. Here we go. Yep. All right, Tim, I am making you a host now.
Well, Cathy, I know you got to run, but we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and sharing with us more information about Atlas. And we will talk to you again soon. Thank you for everything.
Of course. Awesome. My pleasure. Take care. Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Cathy, very much. Hello, everybody. John, thanks again for this opportunity. Cathy, it's amazing. Our ships are absolutely so beautiful, and the thing I love about especially this itinerary, is, again, because the size of our vessels, they're small enough to, this itinerary that you are going on is ideal for the World Navigator. It's just absolutely ideal. So the cruise that John selected and Mike selected is it's a
Tim, you need to
fantastic
share
cruise.
your screen if you could.
What's that?
Can you share your screen?
Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so the itinerary that John selected is absolutely awesome. It's just a great itinerary. It's an Athens round trip. Obviously, it's on August 9th. And the thing I love about the itinerary, and the one thing about Atlas Ocean Voyages is that especially in the warm weather destinations, we are part of, we spend a lot of time in port. So if you notice in Mykonos, I'm sorry, yeah, in Mykonos, and we leave typically later in the evening, which allows you opportunity to experience the destination, which we of course want you to do that on every single one of our cruises. But there's a beauty of that. You could always have dinner on the yacht and then go in town and experience the actual destination itself. So you'll be departing on August 9th from Athens, and obviously you'll be getting there, I would assume, the day before the itinerary, because it does leave promptly at 6 p.m. But some of the highlights of Athens are the temples, the monuments and ruins and things of that nature. Obviously, the Parthenon and Acropolis. I highly suggest that you go maybe a couple days earlier so you can experience a lot of this before the cruise with the museums and Irmo Street and walking and tasting all the tasting tours that you can get when you're in Athens. You obviously could do this pre or post, which would be available for you. So we have the 7-night, again, part of that would be Mykonos. That would be our second day. Taste of Mykonos. Mykonos is an absolutely beautiful small island, just gorgeous. And we'll be there on August 10th. And you'll have all these featured tours. Now, I just want to clarify that the featured tours that I have here, like the olive oil caviar experience, Mykonos town, places like this, these are featured tours that we've done in the past. So it's a little too far out right now to actually post our tours, but suffice it to say that you'll find that a majority of what you see on the screen for all these featured tours we will be doing. But of course, we'll let John and Mike know about the tours probably fairly soon. And then we go on to Kusadasi, and Kusadasi is just an absolute marvel. I've been here. I love it. It's, if you like temples and monuments, it's absolutely incredible. And again, we will be there all day. And you have the Fountains of Trojan, and these are more highlights. We really don't offer right now any tours, but again, hopefully that'll be part of our portfolio moving forward. And then we're on to Patmos. Patmos is just a beautiful, beautiful area. It's got a lot of art and architecture, St. John's Patmos, the panoramic Patmos and wine tours that we do. Those are typically half-day tours. The speedboat, actually, I've done the speedboat ride against the coastline with snorkeling, and it is just, it's incredible. It's a great tour that we feature. So again, this is something that hopefully we'll have fairly sooner than later. Santorini is probably in this itinerary. No, it is definitely my favorite island, without a doubt. Beautiful, typical of, if you notice the picture, that's a typical, what you see when you see pictures of Greek Isles. It's typically in Santorini with the beautiful buildings. There's the village and winery, private sailing by catamaran. If you go out on your own, there's jeeps that you can rent and go on the other side of the island. Just a fabulous place. And of course, you have to do, well, you don't have to, but it's the donkey rides up the hill to the city. It's just a really absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. And this again, like I mentioned before, is Greece when you look at the pictures. Mapflion is small little island, and it's I know that actually one of my colleagues did the ancient Nemea winery, and said it was fabulous because she said it was it's an archaeological site and museum, and then you do a little bit of wine tasting. But again, this would be part of one of our tours, and this you would be visiting on August 14th. And then we're off to Spetses. Spetses is a tiny, tiny island. This will be our first call into Spetses, quite honestly. I've talked to our hotel operations team, and they've told me that it is just a really beautiful, beautiful island. Of course, we will be coming up with some featured programs for this, but it's a little really too early in the game. But this will be our first venture into Spetses, and it is going to be absolutely fabulous. And then, of course, we return back to Athens. As I mentioned early on, I think Athens, I would highly recommend possibly a pre or post tour. That's something that we do offer. I know a lot of folks that, as Jon had mentioned early on, you're going to Athens. It's a long way to go. So it's definitely recommended that you spend a little bit of time before and possibly even after your cruise. But again, we will have several different pre or post options for you when you get into Athens. So I know that Cathy touched a little bit on the Epicurean portion and what we're all about. Well, with us, that we have Epicurean programs, and it's really fabulous. So this is always included, these Epicurean expeditions. So free cultural immersions. Cathy talked a little bit about Jasper Grill dining experience, 7 Aft. The beautiful thing about what you're experiencing on the World Navigator is the fact that we have so much outdoor space, and there's so many little nooks and crannies that you can actually, enjoy your coffee, glass of wine, what have you. And especially when you get on deck 7, because as Cathy mentioned before, that's our main pool area. We have lunch at the restaurant up there, and then of course it turns into 7 Aft Grill. We do free culinary presentations and wine tastings. I believe Cathy mentioned that before. Cooking demonstrations, and of course, we always include our beautiful Atlas Ocean Voyages backpack. We typically have a regional gastronomic guest, which showcases a specialty dish for that area that we're in. And it really is, there's live demonstrations, there's illustrated lectures, there's interactive cooking classes. I happen to be on one of our sister ships in the Canary Islands, and they were doing this actually in our alfresco back in open. It's outside, and they did cooking demonstrations and things of that nature. And of course, this is all open to all of our guests. It's all about wine, and of course, we're in a great area. We have a visiting vintner that will come onto the ship and do some local wine tasting aboard the yacht, and then of course a minimum of wine tasting event and lecture per voyage, and this is also included. The Yachtsman Cook-Off is absolutely a blast. It's like a culinary Ironman competition poolside, or it's in one of our lounges depending on the weather. But this is where the guests actually get together with the chef gets together with our guests, and it's literally a cook-off. It's similar to what you'll see on like a Food Network show where they're competing against each other. So it's a lot of fun. Our guests absolutely love it, and it's interactive, so it's participatory, if you will, and it's absolutely a fantastic experience. And then, of course, we have our free cultural immersions. This is wonderful because, you know, we include one per voyage, and it's an opportunity to attend demonstrations or going out to cooking schools or regional areas, going to certain areas where we have sampling of cheeses or chocolates and things of that nature. But all of our sailings in Greece, we do offer one cultural immersion, and again, this is complimentary. And you know, we obviously have to thank our military, and we also offer up to 20% savings for this particular program. It has already been factored into the price, so that's an additional percentage off that you were able to receive over and above of what Jon and Mike were able to negotiate with us. So the pricing is excellent, and but again, we need to recognize our folks in the military. Jon? Jon?
Sorry, I had to
Oh.
unmute. I muted because I was typing, and I figured that was probably going to be annoying if I was answering questions while we were talking. Somebody was asking about singles, which I'm more than happy to expand upon right now. There is a single supplement. Basically what I just said, we know there's 60,000, I think, surviving spouses in MOAA. So it is a question that always comes up. So there is a single supplement. You can see here we have, we have the telephone number and the email address. Probably best just to reach out to us and get a cruise consultant, and they can help you with what that single supplement is, depending on which cabin category you are looking for. Another thing that we have, and I just was typing this, but I always like to kind of explain it. We do have, as I mentioned, 60,000 surviving spouses. We do frequently have both female and male MOAA members who are looking to completely avoid the single supplement, and we can put you in contact with another female. If you're female, another male. If you're male, we're not a matchmaking service, but we can put you in contact with somebody, and we have it all the time on signature groups where people will actually share a room. So what we'll do, if you're interested, you let us know. We'll put you in contact, share your contact information, and allow you to talk on the phone or email or text, however you want to communicate with another MOAA member, and decide amongst yourselves as if you would be interested in doing that share kind of program. A couple people talked about shore excursions. Tim, I don't know if you'd like to expand upon this. We are hoping by the end of this month to have shore excursions for the 2024 season to give you a better idea of what will be offered in the various ports of call. Right now, if you go to our website, we actually grab the 2023 information, so you can go there and it will show you the shore excursions that were offered last year in the various ports we go to give you an idea of what shore excursions will be available in each port. Being a smaller cruise line, you know, it's not like some of the big guys that are going to be, you know, in Mykonos every Wednesday, you know, every week for the entirety of the cruise season. So they have preset excursions every single year that pretty much remain the same. With Atlas, they are out there putting together these experiences for you. So there is kind of, I guess I would say, changes or evolutions to those from year to year. So they look at 2023, what worked, what didn't work, what was the feedback from the people that went on these excursions, and then they put together the excursions for 2024. So we really can't say right now what will be offered in every port of call in 2025, but certainly we hope by showing you what they did in the past to give you an idea of what will be available in the future. Tim, did you want to expand upon that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we will have it hopefully within the next 3 weeks to a month. But to Jon's point, what I'll do is I'll make sure that we get those over to Jon and he can post it. But again, we tend not to deviate that much. Yes, certainly we'll do a few tweaks and things of that nature for our itineraries fleet wide. but full confidence that once we get out to 24, then you'll have a really, really good idea. Then you'll be able to, look at what we're going to announce in 25. But I would, you could pretty much hold true to the ones that we come out with for 24, that it'll be very, very similar in nature.
Okay. Sounds great. One other thing, we did mention that we are recording this webinar. So we will send everybody a copy of this late afternoon, early evening. As soon as we're done here, we'll start working on that process. In that email, we send you with the link to the YouTube, because we'll actually upload this video to YouTube. In the email where we send you that link, we will once again include a link to the website. We do have a website specifically for this cruise, so it has all the information. There are 2 tabs on that website. One is shore excursions. That's where you'd go right now to see kind of the excursions that were offered last year. And as Tim said, we will update that as soon as 2024 is released. We've also, on the last webinar, this is the second webinar we've done on the signature group, we had a number of people that were asking about either doing a back-to-back with the previous cruise or the cruise immediately following this. We're also looking to get that information. Right now, we really just have the dates and the basic itinerary. For example, the cruise immediately after our round trip Athens cruise is an Athens to Dubrovnik. As soon as so there's actually the dates for that. That's an 11-night or a 9-night?
It's a 9-night cruise,
9
and it departs August 16th.
Yeah. Okay. So this cruise,
Back to back.
yeah. So if you wanted to do a back-to-back, because you're going to be, flying all the way over, not only to Europe, but all the way to Athens, which obviously, is almost twice again as far, is Paris from the East Coast, that if you'd like to extend. So there will be pre's and posts available. You can actually do back-to-back cruises. So that tab is on the website. And then we have the tab which shows the examples of the shore excursions. I don't see any other questions. I don't think any of the other ones that were asked are anything we really need to address. Somebody did ask about accessible staterooms. There are 2 on the ship. Neither have been purchased so far, so they're both still available. One is a category A1, one's a category AO. So certainly if you are interested in accessible stateroom, there's only 2, and they are different cabin categories. So certainly get back with us as soon as possible. Other than that, somebody asked about air. That's a typical question. Airfares of late come out about 11 months prior to departure. So if we're talking an August of 2025 cruise, airfares will not be released until probably September, probably not even late September of this year. I always suggest people talk to your cruise or travel consultant here at MOAA Vacations. Same type of thing with transfers, and determine what works best for you. On your flights, we can get the airfare through Atlas. We can get transfers through Atlas. But some people who want to go over for an extended pre or post, or, they'll add another trip to this or whatever, you may be better served of working with your MOAA Vacations travel consultant to do air separate from Atlas, to do separate transfers, because the transfers from Atlas, are not, from every single hotel in Athens. I mean, it's a bit more specific airport to ship kind of transfer. So plenty of time to work on that, since as I mentioned, airfares or flight schedules won't be out until September of this year. Tim, anything else you want to throw in? If not, we're almost to 3 o'clock. So
yeah, the only thing I wanted to add, and I should have brought this up, but I do get a lot of questions, John, as I'm sure you do, but I get a lot of questions on internet, Wi-Fi, things of that nature. We just installed on our ships the Starlink program, and I have to tell you, it's night and day from before. It's the connectivity is very, very good. And again, I do get a lot of questions. I just experienced that. Even quite honestly, I just returned back from Antarctica, and it was amazing just the difference that upgrading the Navigator to Starlink. So that's
And it's
just
important to
something
mention how much that costs.
I'm sorry?
And it's important to mention the cost for the internet is?
Well, there's you get 1 gigabyte, and then it's basically it's around $70.
But for
Um,
most people, a gigabyte is going to be ample, and that's included.
Right.
Is kind of what I
Right.
was trying to get
Yeah,
to.
exactly. Yeah. So, but
Yeah, it's not designed for you to be streaming Netflix movies.
correct. Exactly.
So.
I guess I could just end with the fact that, and Cathy, talked about, I can't say enough about the vessels. They're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're small. We're able to traverse in waters, quite honestly, that a lot of the bigger ships cannot. Our staff on board are absolutely incredible. They are what makes the cruise successful. So you can definitely count on having a great service on board and great culinary program. All in all, just a fantastic cruise.
Fantastic. Yeah, we hope to see everybody in Athens in August of 2025. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We love doing these webinars. Be looking for that email with the link to the webinar and the link to the website. The ship is, I think, 45% full at this juncture. I know I got a message that we have more cabins that we need to indicate is sold. We try to keep that update. So if you're interested in going, get back with us. That way you can select the stateroom you want. As I said, our goal is to have every cabin full with MOAA members and MOAA guests. I guess I should mention that again. When you get the email with the link to this webinar, feel free to share it with families and friends that you would like to have you join on this cruise. So Tim, thank you for
you very
joining us
much.
today. I'm going to turn it over to you for the final word, and we'll let everyone take off. So Tim.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can get you to experience Atlas Ocean Voyages. It's a fantastic product. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone.